The next game up is YMM versus Rawness. YMM is coming to a big upset loss to Animal Planet. And Rawness is coming out of a big loss to Reckless. Now, a lot of people say that the YMM team is falling apart. Jeremy can't be controlled. Rico doesn't really have leadership over this team. And Roger's just not there consistency enough in order for the team to be at its top capacity. What do you think is the issue? Can Caesar control this team? Because right now they look like they're going backwards.
I mean, I feel like they're losing their foundation now. They're losing their foundation. Their unity is falling apart. And I feel like that's worse than what's going on in the field. I feel like a lot of guys are not really on the same page. They're not really, committing in the same way. There's a lot of things that they're not listening to when it comes to other guys speaking to them. There's a lot of things that I feel like Caesar needs to pull them to the side and say, you know what are we here for? He needs to actually fix that foundation because right now they have none.
And then Rawness attempts to get their bounce back after an upsetting loss to Reckless. They definitely had the game. A lot of miscommunication and a lot of quarterback issues. I got the word that sources said that Casey's going to start for the rest of the season. To me, I think Casey gives them a better opportunity to win. He's more mobile, he has a better arm, and he has a lot of experience, and he has a more relaxed personality rather than Eddie. Eddie seems more over the edge. Seems to get upset, similar to like a Shaq, and I think Casey is the relaxation on his team. He gives them an edge where they just feel comfortable playing the game. So I think we have to see which way these two teams go, and it's just crazy that they're facing each other when they're going through problems now. So let's see what happens. It starts off with Raw getting the ball. Unfortunately, KC's not in rhythm. They have to punt. Roger, they have him back. They didn't have him last week. They have him back, and he starts to drive with 3 big catches. I think Roger is a good weapon. I think he's a guy that gets lost up in the shuffle between Jeremy and Roger. Jeremy and Rico. Roger gets caught up in the shuffle, and I think he's a big cog if this team wants to get back to the championship.
I feel like he's out there to make up for whenever anybody else is having an off game or an off day. Sometimes Rico has too much on his plate. Sometimes Jeremy is not vibing too well. And this Roger's always, one thing about Roger is when he's on the field, he produces. He always is there, make plays. He's consistent, and that's something that this team needs. They need somebody to fall back on when things are not working right, and I feel Roger's the guy to look to.
Well, right after the 3 consecutive catches, Ralph is able to find his man Rico for the touchdown. R&R connects again, gives him an 8-zip lead. Great start. Casey gets sacked. Unfortunately, he's not looking good. Rhythm is not there. He gets sacked early on this drive here. Not looking too mobile here. I think he needs to start getting in the rhythm to understand this is his offense. He has to run it through, and he knows how to run it.
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like sometimes on certain teams you have to start your drive off early. You have to, throw the first punch because eventually, if the other team starts, getting their rhythm going, sometimes it's hard to come back at.
Rawness gets stopped on this series. YMM get the ball, they will end up punting back. And then Jeremy gets a sack on the blitz. Great blitz by Jeremy, showing that he can do a little of everything, which we know he's the Westbrook of this team.
I feel like on defense, he's one of the main guys that actually contributes. He's consistent, especially when he's blitzing the quarterback or when he's playing as a defender. They need him to float around and switch his positions every now and then because at certain points he's effective in each one.
Well, they're unable to blitz when he seems to stop Casey because he's able to connect on a touchdown pass to Joel. Good throw by Casey. Casey got a good arm. I think he could be one of the, not the top quarterbacks in this league, but I think he can make noise to show people that he can throw also.
I mean, all you need is a quarterback that's efficient enough to move the ball, to actually, put up points on the board, and hopefully if you have a strong enough defense, you can challenge a lot of teams out there. You don't really need the best quarterback in the league for every game. All you need is a quarterback that's efficient enough to help move your offense.
Well, on the extra point, which is crucial, Rico gets the interception and returning for 2 points to give YMM the 6-10 lead at half. Rico and Jeremy, when they're making plays, and as you saw earlier, Roger making plays, this team is unbeatable when them 3 guys are on the same level making plays. Roger with 3 big catches, Rico with the touchdown, Jeremy with the sack, and then Rico with the end for 2 points. When them three guys are on the same level, nobody can beat this team. When them three are on the same level.
And I feel like that's their main weakness. When their unity is shaky, when they're not on the same page, that's when they show gaps, in their team style, and a lot of teams actually are able to exploit that. And I feel like that's something that they need to repair.
Ralph throws a ball downfield the second half as YMM gets the ball, but it's knocked down. Nice play by number 25. People say if you can stop Ralph's deep ball, he's readable within the gap. If you could just stop his deep ball, he's not as efficient as normally known.
I mean, that's something that we've been saying since last season. I feel like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league when it comes to that deep bomb, and I feel like once you shut that down, he's not necessarily as efficient in moving the ball, chopping up the field. So that's his weakness right there, and I feel like a lot of defenses would prefer that.
Well, Ralph the next play will throw the ball to Rico for the first down, but the defender goes for the tag and able to knock the ball out of Rico's hand. He loses possession, and the refs call it a drop, which calls him to turn over the ball. What do you think? I don't think the receiver had the ball in enough possession to make an offensive move in order to count it as catch.
I mean, I feel like he didn't really have enough time because the defender actually reacted in time to make the ball move out of his hands, to make the receiver not really able to grasp definitive possession, so it was led to a drop right there.
Rawness gets the ball back, but they get stopped in the red zone. The same problem that they had last week against Reckless. They couldn't score points in the end zone. It doesn't matter who's throwing now. Casey's throwing. He still can't get the points in the red zone. I think that's going to be a problem. They need to learn when you get in the red zone, especially in this league, you got to punch the ball in, and they're not able to do it here.
I mean, the main thing is when you're in the red zone, you got to know where the gaps are. You got to know where to line up. You got to know where to run and where the defense is going so you can find the gaps between them. That's the main thing you have to do.
YMM is unable to punch back and take control of this game, and they end up losing the ball, turnover on downs. We still got a 6-10 lead by YMM. Casey's after a few plays. You can't hold Casey long. He's ended up throwing a touchdown in the back of the end zone by Marge, I believe his name is, to give them a 14-10 lead. That was a big play. We're going to go to my blueprint because I think that this is a game changer. They were up 10-6, and if they can stop them on this series, I think that ends Rawness game. But because of the bad communication, we're going to see on my blueprint what happened to cause Rawness to get this touchdown for the 14-10 lead.
What's going on, people? This is a special edition of Blueprint broken down by me, Ghost, and I'm going to show you this play right here, why YMM failed to stop Rawness from making this touchdown. Now, as you can see here, the defense is lined up in an end zone. One thing that you do is in the end zone, you cannot play a man-on-man defense because there's not enough space to catch up to your man one-on-one. All they have to do is create any type of separation in between the defender and the receiver, and the quarterback has an open window to make a pass for a touchdown. So YMM's mistake here is, as you can see here in the corner, Brown is defending this guy here. What he does wrong is he lets this guy pass by him to cut into the middle. He doesn't warn any of these guys on the other side that the guy is coming across them and to warn them that he's coming to the back. What happens here is he slips behind these two guys right here without none of them knowing. Brown does not warn him. Rather than tell them that he's behind him, all Brown does is try to pick up his man again, and this is where the mistake happens here. He's already open. It's too late for Brown to catch up and stop that play. None of these guys here knows anything that's going on. And the ball giver, the thing about the ball giver is that he doesn't stay in front of the quarterback's view. So the quarterback has an open window to make an easy pass right through the middle. If the ball giver was right there, he could at least distort his vision so that he couldn't have made an easy pass through the middle. What happens as a result of that bad defense? He throws it right over the ball giver to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Rawness. Now, if they would have did that play on a zone and communicated more, they had a chance to stop that play. Unfortunately for YMM, that results into a touchdown, Rawness. That was a breakdown for the blueprint by me, Ghost, and we'll catch you later.
Miscommunication, talking is everything, and when YMM is not on the same level talking defensively, they make mistakes as you saw here.
I mean, this is something that is fundamental. You have to communicate when it comes to defense in the red zone. One thing that you cannot do is, it doesn't make any sense to do man-to-man when you're in the red zone because there's not enough space.
It's too big.
I mean, in all honesty, when you're playing man-to-man, it's all about keeping up with your receiver. It's all about staying with him. When you're in such a small space, all you have to do is create a simple gap and or separation, and the quarterback is throwing the ball to you right there. There's not enough time to catch up with the guy to do man-to-man defense, so you have to go zone on that. You have to block up the gaps, and that's something that they didn't do here.
Well, now they're down 14-10, and they need to get back in the end zone. Ralph throws a nice pass to Roger here. Great route by Roger. I think Roger is the main guy, like I said again. When he makes plays, this offense moves the ball.
And I feel like he was the most consistent person on this YMM team because he's came out and he made key plays to help them put points on the board. And I feel like they're going to need more of that moving forward.
Ralph throws a touchdown pass after to Jeremy in the back of the end zone to give them a lead 17-14, which I said, the main player, Roger. Making big plays enables YMM to score. But KC strikes right back as they're moving the ball, and Jesse stumbles, leaving a man open, and KC throws for a big game. Jesse has a habit of cheating, and too consistently, too much times he has stumbled. We've seen him stumble against House Gang.
Yes.
He ended up giving up a touchdown to Smoke against House Gang. This is another stumble. He has to learn to keep his footing, and he can't make these mistakes. And because of this mistake that he stumbled, he leaves his man wide open. Casey's able to find him for the big game.
He's pretty much one of the surprise factors to this team. When he's actually producing, I feel like that's one of the things that keeps this team from being a beatable team. When he's actually producing. When he's not, it kind of hurts them to the point where you can beat them every time. All you have to do is go to Jesse because he's liable to make a mistake. Sometimes it's either he's producing or he's making mistakes like this, stumbling. Unfortunately, he lost his balance on that one, and it hurts YMM in the end.
Casey's able to find number 4 in the end zone for the touchdown pass right after to give Rawness the win, the lead and the win, 20-17. 2 losses in a row. Eastern Conference champions, 2 losses in a row. They lost to Rawness now, and last week against Animal Planet. Both teams who are in their division. That is 2 big losses for this team. Big losses.
And I feel it's not necessarily on their play. They're not a talentless team. They're not a weaker team than they were last year. I feel like their mentality is not the same as last year. I feel like they're not necessarily on the same page like they were last year. I feel like things are not... They're not as strong as they were last year. They're not as united. And I feel like they need to fix that because a lot of teams are watching them. A lot of teams are paying attention to the mistakes that they're making. A lot of Rico and Jeremy not vibing right now. A lot of teams are noticing that. Jesse, certain times when he's playing defense, he stumbles on the play. A lot of teams are watching that. At certain points when Roger's not there for the game, these teams are watching these things. So this is something that they have to correct because we're going to the latter half of the season and they can't afford these mistakes anymore.
Well, I'm sorry. They wasn't in the same division. Rawness and Animal Planet are not in the same division as YMM. YMM is in the Atlantic East. But what happens now is they fall behind. They're trying to get the number 1 seed. And they're behind IOD. You can't make these losses. These are wins that you should have. And the issue that I think is wrong with this team that Caesar didn't address is 1, leadership. He needs to know. He needs to let the team know he's the only one speaking, and what he says goes. But when you have youth, Rico young, Jeremy young, Mike that they added this year, he's young. Number 7, what's his name? The backup quarterback, number 7, Mr. Sunday. Nelson, young. They got playmakers, but they're young. This team has no leaders on the field. Rico has to really get it buckled down and show that he's the Kevin Durant of the team, and his team doesn't have size.
Yes.
They didn't go out and get size. They didn't go out and get veterans. I understand Caesar wants to keep the team together and say these are the new Carver, but you got to go get the pieces you need, and this team has no size. So the bigger teams outbeat them because they're physical And when you have a team that talks junk as a Rawness, they don't have the leadership to sit down and compel the team to sit down and get them to say, you know what, let's let our play do the talk. This team has too much energy. They don't know when to calm it down and just play ball. People know what this team is, but their problem is they need to constantly prove who they are. And now they're 3-2. Everybody in the league feels that they can beat this team, and that's on their own accountability.
I mean, I feel like they brought this on themselves, and I feel like if they don't feel it now, then they'll never learn their lesson moving forward. I feel like this should be it. This should be like, you know what? Enough is enough. We have to come together. We're on a mission to win a championship that we didn't win last year, and we have to get past all of these issues. These issues are small when they were on the field. They don't matter. All that matters is winning the game and doing it efficiently, and that's something that this is the time to do.
Rawness comes around, and now they're 3-2, and they got a starter. You keep Casey in the lineup, he gives you the best chance to win. I think he's the best quarterback on the team. I think he gives the team, you give him enough weapons, and if this team can play a little better defense, I think they're the sleeper team in the division as well as the league. Jimmy put this team together. He figured this team can get him to a championship. They're 3-2 right now, and they're on the right road to do it. They just got a big game this week against House Gang, and if Casey can find some ways to score on that defense, I think that they could get a big win, and they could kind of push the Browns to the end of the season to get that #1 seed. So we're going to just have to see what happens next week. Next up, we got Reckless versus Killabills. Killabills is coming off of a blowout loss to IOD. This team is 1-3. An embarrassment right now. They got enough players. They just don't know what they got to do. Miguel has been injured. He came 2 times, wasn't able to throw because of his shoulder. So this team has its problems. And Reckless is coming off of a win to Rawness. Reckless is on the same road that they were last year. They locked up the #1 seed. After going 0-2, they won 5 straight last year, which got Bug quarterback of the year. And right now they won 2 in a row. They're looking good.
I mean, the first one, of course, was against LPAC,
but they beat Raw.
Yes, so that was the start, in my opinion, in terms of their winning streak. I don't count LPAC, so they're on a 1-game winning streak.
The standings say they're on a 2-game winning streak.
But I don't count that. I'm sorry. They have to prove it by beating a team that's actually tangible, and LPAC wasn't one of those teams. So that's why we got to see if this game is one of those games that we can add to that winning streak.
Well, we're going to jump right in the game right now. After a few plays, Bug is able to throw this nice touchdown pass to Mimi. And like I told you, Bishop is gone. Mimi's here. I think Mimi is a little upgrade offensively over Bishop. Mimi got more size. I believe he has better hands. And I think he has a lot more experience than Bishop. So not taking anything away from Bishop. He's the reigning MVP. But Mimi gives them exactly what they lost in Bishop. Mimi's the man that you look to. Sticky has stepped up. Wangi's another receiver. So this team is on the road to move and show they didn't need Bishop in order to get what he got. And Bug is able to find Mimi for this touchdown pass.
I feel like that's the new combination that we have this year. I mean, Bug to Mimi. I feel like this is something we've been seeing since the beginning of the season, even though, you know, it didn't really start off in a good note because they didn't win their first couple of games, but still, we've been seeing it, and it's something we're probably going to see further on this season.
Well, Killabills get the ball back. They've been inconsistent, and they've been making a lot of mistakes and not making plays. And as you can see right here, number 22 drops a deep pass for the touchdown, and they end up getting stopped. We will see these type of mistakes all day long. Bug throws a nice pass to number 87 here, and then right after, he throws a touchdown pass to Sticky to put them up 13-zip, and they starting to roll right now. Killabills don't look like they can slow them down.
And I felt like this has been their theme for the last couple of games. Like
1-3.
Yes, they haven't been able to stop anything in terms of, you know, defending anything, any teams from scoring. They haven't been looking good at all.
Well, the Killabills get the ball back, and I guess since number 22 wasn't catching the ball, they decided to throw to Mimi. The only problem is Mimi's not on their team. He's on Reckless. So that's an interception right there to Mimi. Maybe he got confused. Maybe he's looking at somebody to finally catch the ball for him.
I don't know. Because, I mean, this team, There's nothing else I can say. That was just a horrible pass. That's all I can say.
The Bucks get stopped by number 32 on the side to turn over the ball. These are bad turnovers that we've seen Buck make and his offense make. They get the ball back, Killabills, and number 22 tends to follow up his drop with another drop. Another drop touchdown, and they get stopped again. 22 needs to learn he don't know how to catch.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, you know,
sit down.
Okay, at this point, this looks like a scrimmage game for Reckless right now. This is just practice. You know, obviously they turned over the ball a couple times, but they're not worried because they know who they're playing, which is a nothing. I'm sorry to say, but they're not showing anything.
Maybe 22 needs to try to drop the ball. That's a remedy.
Catch it.
Next time they throw you a pass, try to drop the ball, and then maybe you'll catch it.
Listen, they're not in rhythm at all. They're not showing anything. They're dropping passes when they have opportunities to score. Doesn't look good at all. I'm sorry.
Bug gets the ball back on offense, is able to find Wangi for Buck's third touchdown pass of the day to put them up 21-0, and that means Killabills have nothing. Yeah, okay. You're going into the half. Second half, Bug is pretty much able to do what he wants. Throws a nice deep pass to Mimi. There was a flag thrown on the play. I don't know what's going on. I don't really have time to explain it because there's no need to waste my time.
Because it doesn't matter.
Bug is able to throw a touchdown pass to Bolo for a touchdown, putting them up 27-zip. And right now it's a laugh. I don't even know why Bug is still in the game.
I felt like all they were doing was they're just trying to get as many stats as they can. The whole team even made it known on the field. They want the game extended as long as they can so that they can put more stats on the board. That's all it's about right now. I'm
going to rephrase that. I'm going to retract that. And they go up 27-zip to go into halftime, not 21-zip. So Bolo's touchdown puts them up 21-zip going into the half. We see the quarterback get blitzed by Black, and I guess the quarterback, since he saw Mimi catch the interception the first time, he realized Mimi can catch. He decides to throw it to him again. So Mimi gets the second interception of the day. Unfortunately, the quarterback didn't realize Mimi's out on his team.
I mean, it looked like it's been him being generous because he tried to throw an interception to Black in the last play. I mean,
they don't want to play. They wanted this game to end. Bugger throw another touchdown. This one at 87 to end the game. 31-0. Reckless with the big win. They're supposed to beat this team. They beat them. It was supposed to be LPAC. They beat it. You can only beat who's in front of you. So I'm not going to kill Reckless for this game. I'm just going to talk to Johnny. Right now, your team is 1-4. They're embarrassing themselves. They're still in the playoff race. That's the crazy part. They can still turn it around, even though they've been embarrassing themselves so far.
I mean, I don't know how they can turn this around the way they've been playing. And you're talking about Killabills, are you?
Yes.
I don't see any change in that momentum. I don't see it at all because they don't look like they have any idea what's going on. They're just there to say, you know what, we're here. Let's just do these plays and go home. I mean, I don't see any direction right now. Hopefully they can surprise me. Maybe they can. Maybe they can buckle up on those drop passes for touchdowns because those are big. But in terms of everything else, they have to show me that, you know, they can win games. Because right now they're not.
Well, right now that will put them to 1-4. But because YMM lost, YMM is 3-2. But what hurts them is that the Generals won. If the Generals would have lost, the Generals would have been 2-3, which will put Killabills one game out of the last spot for the wild card. But Generals won. So right now, Killabills are 1-4, but they still can make the playoffs. Anything can happen and they can still make the playoffs. So they're not out of it yet. And because right now, LPAC is out of it.
Yes, that's what I was going to mention. Like that they don't have that much of a struggle because they're not battling with LPAC anymore. So there's only one team that they're really fighting for that third spot, and that's the Generals. And I feel like if they can actually catch up with the Generals and the Generals lose a few games, they can take it. They can take over that spot. So if they just do a 180, maybe they have a chance. But if not, I don't see any change.
And on the other side, you got Reckless, who right now, and at the end of the show, we'll show you standings and give you an idea of how the playoff runs will go. But right now, with Reckless getting this win, Reckless goes to 3-2. Rawness won, right? Rawness won today.
Yes.
They beat
YMM.
YMM.
Yes.
So Rawness goes to 3-2. Animal Planet lost, so that puts Animal Planet to 2-3. So right now everything's mixed up. House Gang won on a forfeit, so House Gang is 2-3. So right now this division is still winnable. Browns, it's still winnable depending on how the Browns do against IOD. If the Browns can lose that game to IOD, everybody's in it. So that's the big question. IOD is undefeated. We'll have to find out later in the show what happened, but it's far from over. We got to see what happens, but now was when it starts getting interesting. So we're going to have to see what happens later on in the week. Next game up, we got Black Stallions and Replacements. Replacements is not having as a strong season that they was expected. Coming in this game 1-3 with a big loss to Evo. And Black Stallions were number 3 seed last year. Got a coach. Looked nothing like they looked last year. It wasn't that great last year. They won a few games on forfeit. But they look more competitive. They come in 0-4. Not looking too good. Not looking too good.
I feel like at the end of the day, they're not a horrible team.
They got
It's
playmakers.
Just, yes, it's just that things are just not working out for them. That's all I can say.
They lost a lot of close games.
Yes, that's what I can say. Yes.
Games.
So I feel like they just need to actually correct the little mistakes that they have. Do things crucial, like be efficient at moving the ball. I think if they get that together, I feel like they have a chance.
Can they make the playoffs? And I'm going to look at the standings right now. Can they make the playoffs?
What are they record?
Let's try this again. I didn't say
All right, I'm asking that record.
They make the playoffs. Simple. Right now they're coming in this game 1-3.
If they turn it around,
Underrated is 1-3.
Yes.
Ball So Hard is 1-3. KDW is 2-2.
Yes, they have they actually still can challenge a lot of the top teams in that division. I feel like
Will they
have
win
a
the
chance.
division?
I don't think so. Not with NV
and KDW.
Well, maybe. I'm not gonna say anything.
So
I don't know.
You think they can win this division?
Well,
defend
not
the champs
with the way
in this division?
Not the way Bruce been quarterbacking. So no, I think that they can get the 3rd seed.
You thinking? And we're talking about replacements. We're talking about replacements. Can replacements make the playoffs?
Yes.
Can Stallions make the playoffs?
Harder question to answer.
Let's just jump to the game because he's kind of confused, and we already know I'm the brains of the operation.
Of course,
so,
yes.
We're gonna start out. No Hood. Another game Hood misses, and I think the friction is building up between him and D-Boy. I don't know, but I feel a certain kind of way if my cousin wasn't there for a big game.
I mean, who knows what situation? I mean, what they spoke about before this game. Who knows if they had an agreement that Hood wouldn't play this game?
Yeah, they had an agreement. Yeah, let's agree that Hood don't play this game. Yeah, I like that.
Who knows? Maybe they had a conversation where D-Boy said...
Hey, or something.
No. Maybe they had an argument where D-Boy said, don't come back.
I like that better.
All right, who knows? My point is, we don't know. So I'm not going to speculate. The fact is, Hood is not here. Test is here, the quarterback.
Well, Tess makes a pass in the back of the end zone. The receiver drops the ball. Turnover. We've been seeing a lot of receivers drop the passes this season. I don't understand. But Black Stallions' offense is not really anything that anybody worries about. They go 4 and out. Tess throws an interception to number 52 on the 1st down. Tess has been making a lot of bad throws this year. Is he as efficient as Hood? I don't know. I think he's a decent backup, but I don't think he can take this team. If they have to depend on him to take them to the playoffs, I don't think they're going to do it.
I feel like there's a lot of things that he has to correct in terms of one thing that I factored and I spoke about throughout our show, week in, week out, is decision making. And I feel like Tess has an arm. He can reach throughout the field. I feel like he can. It's just that the decision making, knowing where your receiver's going to go and anticipate where the defense is moving, I feel like he's not there yet.
Well, Victor gets the ball. He's a new starter for the Stallions this season. It looked like they sat down Christian. So Vic is throwing. Vic throws an interception to Dave. Dave is a military man. We're going to show him some respect and salute. Great interception by Dave. These are the plays that replacements need on defense. Other than D-Boy, somebody else will step up and make plays, and that was a great play by Dave. Well, Tess gets sacked. After they get the ball back, Tess is sacked by Xavier on the blitz on the 2nd down, and then replacements on a half to punt. Once again, Tess gets stopped. That's the difference between him, I believe, and Hood. I think Hood is more mobile than Tess. And a lot of sacks that we see Tess get caught on, I don't think Hood will get caught on, and it shows here they have to punt.
I'm sorry to say, but if Hood was that efficient, they wouldn't be 1-3.
Whoa.
So I feel like I don't think. Listen, it's facts, right? I mean, that's all I can say. I mean,
say I'm the bad guy.
Listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter which quarterback is quarterbacking. They haven't been winning the games that they needed to make, and that's a fact. Regardless if you agree with me or not, the numbers do not lie. And I feel like none of these quarterbacks have been as efficient as they needed to be to make the plays that they needed to make. And I feel like this is a test. This is a testament to that right now.
Well, Vic throws an incomplete pass to number 15. And if you pay attention here, number 24 on the other side was wide open. I don't understand why these quarterbacks don't do something which called scan the field. You know, remember Madden when they had that little vision thing? Like you have Peyton Manning, who could basically his quarterback preview, peripheral, however you say
peripherals.
It. Well,
yes.
Light up the whole field.
Yes.
But remember Michael Vick had the little box, and I think this Vic is like a Michael Vick with the little box because he can't see. Because the other receiver's open, and he's throwing a 15 when 24 is open.
And that was horrible because that was
turnover.
a touchdown in the making. He didn't even look at the side. The receiver looked frustrated, waving, saying, "I'm here," and he didn't see him.
Well, Tess gets rushed on 4, rolls out and throws the interception. The next play, Vic, he throws a nice catch play for a big game by Javon, but the time runs out, halftime, zip. No offense really. I wouldn't say it's great defense. I would say it's bad offense. Second half, number 12, Vic gets the ball again, and he's sacked by B-Dot.
Yes.
Well, D-Boy wanted to be the man on the scene. B-Dot, which you can see he can't write because it looked like D-Boy, but B-Dot makes a play on the blitz, and what I'm trying to say is D-Boy wanted to go on his own, and he has to show why he did it, just not out of spite. You go on your own and say, I have a better opportunity to win a championship with my own team. This team is 1-3, and they need D-Boy, B-Dot, as well as Dave to make plays to help the team and to make a big play here. Science have to punt. Replacements go 4 now, ain't able to capitalize, have to give the ball back. Vic throws a deep pass to Javon for a great catch. Javon is a guy they need to keep going to. He's about 6'3", and I think he's unstoppable.
I feel like this is something that they're gonna need with the season going forward. I feel like this is something that they need day in, day out. They need to go to him more. He oversizes a lot of guys on the field. He's fast, he has hands, and he makes crucial plays that they need to move the ball. I feel like they can't do anything without him at this point.
Well, one is good, more is better, and they come right back to Javon to give him a touchdown, 6-0 lead. Great play by Black Stallions to take the lead in this game. Tessa get the ball right back and find D-Boy after a few plays in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Great throw by Tess. D-Boy needs to make these plays to get his team into the playoffs and get that wild card spot at least.
I feel like if D-Boy is not necessarily efficient, he's not, putting points on the board or making plays for his team, I feel like this is one way you could say that the team has no chance because they need him. He's one of the anchors for this team. And I feel like things like that is something that they need consistently.
Vic gets the ball back for Black Stallions, and he throws a bad interception to Dave. Dave, second of the day. Great move by Dave to scan the field, read the quarterback's eyes. Great interception.
I feel like he's become a key member to this team, moving, getting at this point. And I feel like it's vital for him to make plays at this point because they haven't had such consistently like this on defense from one guy. And I feel like this is huge for the replacements, and this is something that they need to look at moving forward. Is this one of the main guys on defense? Who knows?
Unfortunately, 2 plays later, Tess throws a horrible pass back to the Black Stallions, Javon for interception. Bad throw by Tess. These are the throws that I'm talking about you cannot make when you're stepping in for the starter.
Yes, I mean, this is something that you need to correct moving forward. These are not plays that you can afford to make when you're making a drive to score. And this is what's keeping the other team in this game, and that's probably what affected a lot of your games, what you lost.
Vic gets the ball back on interception, and thank God we have the military to protect us, and that's what Dave does with his 3rd interception of the game, protecting that great defense, protecting a mediocre defense, I should say. Dave with the great play, just like a military guy would do, and gets the interception, his 3rd of the day. Tess gets sacked the next play by Baba. They're unable to score, and now we go into another overtime 6-6.
I mean, right now, throughout the game, you're saying great game, but it's only been a great game for 2 guys. It's been great Javon and great for Dave. That's been the 2 guys right there. It's Javon versus Dave. That's the game right now. And since they're the only ones producing, that's why it's 6-6 right now.
Well, we got overtime. Vic throws a touchdown pass to Javon. Javon jumps over defenders. Look at this great jump. Jumps over for the catch to give them the 12-6 lead in overtime. Great play by Javon.
He just pretty much Randy Mossed them at that point. That's just something that's something that you just love to see if you're the quarterback. I have a guy that I can throw it up to, and he's going to be there to catch the ball, and that's crucial to this game right now.
Tess gets sacked by
Baba again.
Baba.
Yes.
I don't know what this name is. I'm pretty sure his mama didn't name Baba, but he gets sacked by Baba in overtime. See, to stop for the first play. Now, this is what I love about the UFL Football League. I love the opportunity that the team gets a chance to strike back. We try to upgrade every year, and as you can see, Stein's able to score, but that's not ending the game. Replacements get a shot to their offensive score, and Bubba gets a sack. The next play, Tess tosses the ball to the end zone just to make the play. Kaz is there. Easy interceptor to drop the game, to end the game. Look at it and say, oh no! Spoke too soon. This interception would have ended the game in overtime, but he drops him and gives him life. Now, we all know football. Because of this drop, what do you think happened? Because of the drop that Kaz could have had to end the game that he dropped into could have gave Black Stars their first win of the year, he drops it. Now, what do you think happens?
Listen, all I'm saying is when I was on the field and I was watching this game and I watched Kaz drop that ball, I saw the ball hit the ground right from in between his hands, I felt this is going to come back to bite him. I feel like this right here was the play to end the game, and because he missed it, I feel like it's going to hit them hard. Either the next play or sooner. I feel like they were going to feel that.
The next play, Tess throws the ball up again. It's tipped by D-Boy and caught by D-Boy.
No, it was tipped by D-Boy and caught by the military man,
Dave, who bails out. Not only didn't he bail out our country, he's bailing out the replacements to get the touchdown to tie the game up. Once again, Kaz, if you catch that ball, game is over. And because of your drop, and I don't like to blame the game on one particular player or one play, because I played the game. But this game could have ended it, and if you're a big player, you gotta make a big play. He didn't do it. D-Boy with the great tip, caught by Dave in overtime to give him the lead. And the extra point is caught by D-Boy from Tess to give replacements the win and keeps the Stallions 0-5. Bad play by Kaz, great play by Dave and D-Boy to give them the win.
I felt at this point, like I said before, that play was going to bite him. And I felt like that play right there was the seal of the deal. That's something that no question you're supposed to make. And I felt like this loss for Black Stallions is pretty much on him. Not to say that it was all his fault, but you could have helped your team by catching that interception.
I think that loss ended their season. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the wild card. They're not mathematically eliminated. You know, they're in a winnable division. They can at least get the wild card. I don't think they're going to the playoffs this year. I think they're done. Replacements are 2-3, and now they play Carver, who's 5-0. I think this was a big win for them. I think they need Hood this week in order to beat a Carver, but I think they can beat Carver. I don't think they will beat Carver.
Listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what quarterback touches the ball. They just need to be efficient, because I didn't see no real difference between Tess and Hood this year.
The mistakes they made against Black Stallions, you make that against Carver, you're going to get blown out.
But I don't feel like there's any way that one quarterback is going to do better than the other at this point. I've been watching all these games, and I haven't been seeing anything to distinguish Hood from Tess, or vice versa. So I feel, regardless of who touches that ball, they need to make sure that they do not make mistakes that they did, like in this game. Because they're not going to win against Carver at all.
We're going to see what happens next week. Replacements are 3-2.
2-3.
And Black Sounds are 0-5. We're going to have to just see what happens next week. Next up, we have the game of the week. IOD versus Browns. Browns are coming in 3-1 with a squeak by win to House Gang. They won 6-0. And ILD's coming up to a humiliating blowout to blowing out Killabills. They're coming in 4-0. A lot of people not talking about ILD. ILD seems to be the best team in the East. They got the best record. Now that YMM lost. And Browns coming in at 3-1.
I'm going to say this. A lot of people may not like what I'm saying right now, but I felt like they were the best looking team in the whole season. They looked to me better than Carver Mile.
And better than them Getters.
Yes, better than them Getters. Reason why I say it is because they looked efficient from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. Especially when Slasher was quarterback. And he looked like, not to say that he was the best quarterback, but he was the most efficient. He got the job done whenever he needed to. And it felt like, regardless of what, their team came in and they were going to win from the beginning of the game to the end. They looked like they were winners from the beginning to the end.
And the Browns?
And the Browns, I would say, when Puka's not there, they're not the same team.
No.
And that's another
Absolutely
thing.
not. They won 6-0 last week to House Gang with no Puka.
Yes, and that's why I say right there is the difference. I feel like Puka's a difference maker in this team. You notice it right away when he's not present, and I feel like he's the guy that they need in order to move forward and actually have a chance to actually win a championship this year.
Well, we're going to jump in the game and see what happens right now. Slasher gets sacked by Reggie. Reggie's been playing pretty good ball giver too. You know, he knows how to sack the quarterback. He's not really a runner, but he gets sacks here and there, so that's a big sack. Then Slasher gets sacked by Black on the blitz, and ILD is stopped. One thing I can say about their coach, Jingo, he has a lot of schemes for this team. And they know how to blitz, they know who to blitz, and they know when to blitz. They got a great scheme. They're not as strong as House Gang's defense, but they better strategize. They have a better scheme. I think House Gang is just going on pure talent.
Yeah.
I think the Browns are going on pure strategy, which strategy always beats talent.
And I feel like this is one team that I could say the coach has so much input in what's going on with this team, the plays that they make, the way that they strategize on defense as well as offense. And I felt like that's what makes them a team that distinguishes from everybody else. Brain power.
ID gets stopped. The Browns get the ball back. They have to punt, which is the difference from their offense last year. They had a great offense, but this year we see them punting the ball, a lot of 4-and-outs, a lot of not having the ability to. Reggie not looking like the offensive player of the year like he looked last year. This year, he doesn't look the same. I don't know if that's because the defense is a little more difficult. A lot of people say Reggie's up in age. I think he still got it. I just think we got stronger defenses this year.
I just think that there's, like you said, there's more competition this year, so things are not as easy as they were last year. Look at Chuck from Carver Mob. He's been looking great this season, but there's been certain times where the defense did challenge him on certain games. So, you know, there's competition. That's all I can say.
Well, Slasher get the ball back with ILD, and he's able to throw a touchdown pass to Ace to give him a 7-0 lead. Great throw by Slasher. He would be my quarterback of the year so far if he didn't come out the second half and let Joe throw. If he would throw the whole game, he would be up there, and I think that's going to hurt him for quarterback of the year.
I mean, specifically that. Because
yes.
It's not that he's, playing bad.
No.
He's not making too many bad decisions. He's been very efficient day in and day out, and I feel like he's been one of the more impressive quarterbacks this year.
Reggie would throw an incomplete pass to Jay on the red zone, and they end up turning the ball over. That's going to give him a halftime lead with 7-0. As we can see, both offenses didn't really have anything. Pretty decent defenses, so I'm not going to say it was a bad offense show. We just got two good defenses playing against each other today. Next one, Reggie starts the ball in the second half, throw a nice pass for a big game. These are the plays you see Reggie make. A few plays later, Puka with the touchdown pass. You want to win, get the ball in Puka's hands. You're in good hands with Puka, and we see here on the touchdown.
Yes, he's always at the right place at the right time. He's one person that's hard to defend no matter where he's at, no matter what defense is out there. So I feel like eventually you're going to see one of those every now and then.
Slasher throws a bad interception to Black. Slasher's not really known to throw interceptions, but he threw one here, bad throw by Slasher. He hasn't been doing that this year, and you see him throw a bad play right here.
And I feel like this is a test to Brown's defense. I feel like they actually put pressure on Slasher, and they covered all the receivers long enough to have Slasher make a bad throw and Black make a play on it.
Reggie throw a pass to Weezy in the back of the end zone, but the ref called it out of bounds. What do you think? Good call? Bad call?
I feel like it was a good call. I feel like the receiver never really got his both feet in bounds. I feel like, the ref had the angle, and so did I when I was looking at it, and I felt like he didn't get his second foot down, so yes, it was out of bounds.
Next play, Reggie gets blitzed by Gill, but he's ends up getting sacked by number 29. Great play by Gill to get the pressure. We seen Gill put pressure in the championship game against YMM when he helped MV win a championship. He moved over to IOD. He's showing the same pressure this year that he saw when he was with MV.
And you should see the sheer strength of Gill pushing, actually challenging Pop. There's another person that actually challenged Pop when he rushed in for the blitz and made Reggie roll out to get sacked by 29. That's great strategy right there by IOD, sending Gill in for that blitz.
Then we see Slasher throw his second interception of the game. So I think it's a defensive player of the year candidate. I think should be Darnell with the great jump over the receiver. If you look right here, awesome play by Darnell to get over the receiver and make the interception. Darnell been having a great year defensively.
Yes, I mean the only question is there was kind of controversy as to what happened on that play. It's that a lot of players were saying that the receiver was pushed from behind. I didn't really see it. I saw that he lost his balance and he fell, and Darnell just happened to jump over him to make that play. Regardless of what you think, I look at it and Darnell made a great play on that interception.
Reggie wants to get the ball back, throws a nice few passes, throws a nice pass to Rob near the end zone, great throw by Reggie, and on the next play, he's able to find Mr. Allstate, good hands with Puka, touchdown pass to Puka, his second of the day, great throw by Reggie.
I feel like this is patented right now. Reggie and Puka, this is one of the main combinations we had since last year, and I feel like you're not going to see nothing, you're going to keep seeing this as you move along.
That'll give the Browns unable to get the extra point. They have a 12-7 lead. Slasher gets the ball back and throws the ball to number 11. Number 11, Ace does not look back, and the ball is intercepted by Rob, and then, which should be Slasher's third interception of the day. It's pitched back to Puka. Puka runs it back for a touchdown. His third touchdown of the game. It's going to give the Browns the win, the upsetting win, 18-7 Browns. Great play by Puka. Great pitch by Rob. Bad throw by Slasher because Ace wasn't looking. So why would you make the throw when Ace is not looking? Maybe that was a set play. Ace was
but that's what I was getting to. I feel like this was a programmed play. So if you're a receiver, you're supposed to be looking back by a certain point in time in the play.
So it's a turnaround.
Yes, maybe it was. I feel like he just looked was going to the end zone. He didn't look back at his quarterback. I feel like there was driving. You didn't need to go directly to the end zone of that play. And I felt like that play killed them because they were driving. I felt like they had a chance to win the game. Ace did not look back on that play at all, and I felt like Slasher was able to do it anyway, feeling that he had to because that was a programmed play for Ace, and that ended up going the other way, and that's a bad way to lose a game for IOD.
Well, IOD, who's undefeated, ends up losing, and if you can hear hopefully you'll have the sound effect of the cork popping for House Gang. Rose G's as they keep their undefeated record going to the championship good. They had a scare last year, but the Browns lost in the playoffs. Right now, the only undefeated team is Carver, so I don't think Rose G's need to be popping anything too soon because I don't know if Carver's going to lose anytime soon, but they got one team out of it, which is IOD with the loss. This is a big win by the Browns. The Browns are now 4-1. They take ownership of the division. They're looking good. A lot of teams are after them, but they got a nice win. IOD 4-1. They basically got the division in a grapple. This loss, teams can catch them, but the way they're looking, and now that we were told that LPAC has dropped out of the league, IOD, who was supposed to play them this week, ends up getting a bye and a win. So now IOD's 5-1. So that's going to hurt the other teams now, because now IOD gets a win and they need to have to step on the field.
No, but I feel like, this is a loss that, it was a surprising loss. They fought hard, back and forth.
7 points though.
Yes. So I feel like this is just a big accomplishment by the Browns defense. This is something where you can look and say, the Browns defense is a thing to worry about. It's a fact now that the Browns defense is something to worry about if they were able to keep IOD to 7 points.
So let's talk about the best defenses in the East. Browns, House Gang, YMM, IOD.
Right now,
from 4-1.
Yeah, but I feel like the main two defenses to really talk
about. Who's the fourth? Like I said, let me give you the list again. Browns, IOD, House Gang, and YMM. Who's the fourth best defense?
I feel right now is YMM.
Okay.
I feel that because when they played against the Browns, they beat the Browns, but they did not necessarily stop the Browns. They just out-battled the Browns when it came to a high-scoring game. So the defense wasn't really the strongest. So I felt like as of right there, and then the couple games that they lost, you can't necessarily say that they're up there and can challenge any of these other teams in defense right now.
I would agree with you with that one. I think that YMM has a decent defense. They get a lot of interceptions, which is, to me, it's Jeremy and not necessarily Rico, but no, I'm gonna rechange that. Jeremy, Rico, and Roger make plays on defense.
Yes.
That'll make them a strong defense, but they get turnovers. So I would agree with you on the 4. We agree on 4. 3 now.
3, I would have to say, this is a hard thing to make a decision. But I have 2 teams battling for 2nd and 3rd place. And right now,
3 is between Browns, IOD, and House Gang. It's only an I want something show. So can you make a decision?
I would have to say, as of right now, I would have to say IOD.
And I will agree with you on IOD. IOD puts pressure on the quarterback, which is Gil. I don't think Gil is able to be blocked in this league. We haven't found anybody that can block Gil one-on-one.
No.
So I think his pressure causes teams to make mistakes. And because IOD's offense is so efficient, I think it causes teams to make mistakes because they're trying to stay up with their offense. And I don't think that they have a great defense, but I think because of that, that puts them in number 3.
I mean, they get the job done, and I guess that's all they need at this point. They don't really need the best defense. They just need one to hold the offense enough for their offense to put up points.
Number 2.
Number 2, I would really have to say the Browns. They get the job done as well. They are more dominant defense than I would say IOD. They have a lot of playmakers that consistently go out there and make big plays like Darnell, which like Puka. So I feel like guys like that I think they do it day in, day out from last season. And I feel like right now, they are definitely there for 2nd place.
I would say 2nd place is House Gang. I think House Gang, they don't have enough interceptions. They make stops, but they don't pick the ball off. I think that's going to hurt them when you have an offense that doesn't score, and it's going to cause your defense to gamble more.
Yes.
And that's going to hurt them. I think with Mookie's a lockdown corner. Is J-Star going to be there every week? So you can't really depend on that because of his trip from Brooklyn. I think Swagger is a great linebacker, but he's not having the year he had last year.
No.
Smoke is the key, and Pig is the key. Those 2 cogs, but Pig is playing with one leg. He can't really play man-on-man coverage. Rudy is a quarterback. He plays safety, but we've seen him get beat by faster receivers or receivers with just as much speed as him. So I think there's holes in his defense, and they don't necessarily blitz well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the key to this defense is surrounded by Smoke.
Yes.
As you see, when Smoke is not making plays,
they're a beatable
team.
Yes.
I say the Browns are the number 1 defense because Darnell can lock down any receiver in this league. Black is showing that he can make plays. Nutt has a lot of experience. He can make plays.
Yes.
And when you have a guy like Puka, do you really want to throw the ball with a guy who can return it back the other way for a touchdown? That's why I think the Browns have the number 1 defense. I don't think that they're better than the House Gang defense.
No.
I think House Gang defense is the best defense in the league. But I think the Browns are better defense. I think House Gang is the most talented defense.
Yes.
I think the Browns
you
have
know
the
what?
most
So then you know what? You swayed
strategy
me. You swayed
defense.
me only because of one thing that I spoke about earlier in this segment, which was their coach.
Right.
And I felt like their strategy.
Exactly.
Is
You know how to
what puts them over
strategize
the
for
top.
every
Yes.
offense in the league.
Yes.
And I think when you have Jingo, who has experience, he played linebacker in this league, and he watches tape. He watches the show, he watches the breakdown, and he knows how to attack every quarterback. And that gives him the leg up over House Gang.
Yes.
I think House Gang has a more physical defense. I think they're more talented defense.
Yes.
But I think Browns has the most scheme, and they have 2 guys who is Darnell and Black, who can lock up with everybody. And when you have a guy like Puka who's playing the free safety, who can float around and get a lot of steals and can return it back, that's going to give them the edge over House Gang's defense.
I feel like that's the main factor. That's the difference between House Gang and the Browns, is that they have the schemes from their coach, and they're able to implement it so well. And I feel like House Gang, yes, you said they have talent. Yes, they do. And with Swag out there, you know, leading the team on defense, I feel like they are efficient, but I don't feel like they have the schemes that Jingo has as of yet.
Right.
You know, they can change that and they can improve in the future, but as of right now, that's the one thing that the Browns has a leg up on right now.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the West. To me, the West doesn't have as a strong defense as the East. The best defense, hands down, I would have to say is Carver Mob. They only gave up 25 points. And if you go through everything, they got the best defense. The guys playing great. Cable Guy, Danny, and Bishop are playing great on defense this year. They gave up 18 points to them Getters. Them Getters are a 4-on-1 team.
Yeah.
They gave up no points to MV. MV are a 4-on-1 team. They gave up no points to Ball So Hard. Ball So Hard is 1-4, but they still gave up no points to them. And they gave up 7 points to Evo, and Evo's 3-2. So Carver, hands down, is the best team in the West and maybe in the league. I know we talk about Browns, we talk about LD, we talk about House Gang, but Carver played the top teams in the West already. And they're undefeated, and they only gave up 18 points against a strong Getters offense. How can you not say they're the best defense in the division? I mean, the conference, if not in the league?
And I feel like the main factor is a factor that you wouldn't even look at. I feel like their defense is so efficient. Their defense is so like damaging to opponents is because their offense is one of the main factors. Their offense is so demoralizing. It's just that their offense is just that one guy that you get so close but you just can't catch.
It causes the other team's offense to make mistakes.
And it causes them to fall apart. It causes them to not be as efficient. That their offense isn't as confident. They have their quarterbacks questioning every throw from then on.
Carver Mob, in the 4 games that they played, in the 5 games that they played coming up until now, they beat everybody. They beat Evo, they beat Gettys, and they beat MV. Those teams combined are 12-4. 12-4. They just beat underrated.
Yes.
They're 12-4. The teams that they beat. 12-4. Hello? Those are the top teams in the West. They beat everybody. 12-4, and they only gave up 18. They only gave up 25 points. That's amazing. As of now. We didn't count the underrated game, and I think they only gave up 13 points to them. But the bottom line is they got the best defense in the league, to me. We don't talk about their defense in this case that they're overshadowed by their offense, but we got to call a spade. And the team that they beat are over 500. They are 12-4, and Carver has beaten them. We got other games. You got Gettys, who only gave up 47 points. You know, they gave up 22 points to Carver. They gave up about 14 points, I believe, to underrated. 6 points to replacements. But the bottom line is, these teams are not as what Carver played. Carver played all the Western top teams, and they beat them all. And the only team that able to give them a shootout was Gettys. So I would have to say right now, they got the best defense, if not in the conference, in the league. Then you go down the list. You say, yeah, KDW's a possibility. Evo's a possibility. Gettys are a possibility. But to me, they're all in the same bracket because they haven't really showed the ability to dominate. The only team I'll say is next to Carver is them Gettys, defensively. Then you got KDW. Then you could split in MV, who also has another great defense. But the number one defense is Carver, and there's nobody near them. No. So we not even need to go 2, 3. The top defense is Carver in the West.
And nobody's challenged him as of right now. Like you just said, the only team that actually gave him a challenge
was them
Gettys, and they were making plays against Carver Mob on defense. So I would say that's the only team as of right now that's proven to have any chance against Carver Mob right now.
Then you could jump up and say MV. MV gave up no points to Ball So Hard. They gave up 7 points to Black Stallions, but those are 2 bad teams combined. Those teams are, I believe, like 1-8 or something like that. So that's you can't count that. They gave up 17 to Carver, which is good, but they still lost that game with 17 points. And Valley Boys, they gave up 13 points, but I won't call Valley Boys up there with the Carver, Getters, and all that. So at the end of the day, that's my beliefs right now. And they lost. They didn't look great against KDW. It was more what KDW did wrong. So at the end of the day, it's still too early to say. It's not like the East. East definitely has a better defense than the West. The West has stronger offenses, which is Getters have a strong offense. Carver got a strong defense. And even Evo shows their ability to have a strong offense when they want to. KDW, with Bruce Thorne, has a strong offense.
Yes.
I think the East has better defense. West has better offense.
Yes.
So we're going to wrap up the show that way. If you have any complaints, you want to sit down, go to the guest book, leave your comments. We'll talk about it here. Nothing is out of bounds. Whatever you feel, the challengers, throw it on there. We'll discuss it. We have a big week this week coming up. Once again, we gave a shout out to Fred. He lost his father. We want his father. We once again, our heart soul goes out to MV team, to Fred, his family, and on behalf of UFL. Our condolences to Fred and his family. Other than that, guys, we're going to get ready for a big week 6. And I'm excited. We see what happened, man. I'm Stephen J.
And I'm Ghost.
We're going to wrap it up this week. We see y'all guys next week for some big games. We'll have our playoff preview next game to who we think is going to win the divisions. And we're going to show you our All-Stars as well as our selections for Players of the Year, the categories, the awards. So have a good week. We see y'all on Saturday.